banned from Twitch, the platform,
Yeah.
for saying that they think it's not fair for trans women to be competing in women's sports.
Okay.
They got deplatformed.
Yeah.
And I thought it was so fascinating because I watched the debate where it happened. I want you to watch some of the things that the other people who didn't get banned said.
The trans athlete is going to do a lot to like foster a lot of really bad will against like trans people in general. I think it's a really good turf argument for, well, look, these people just want to destroy women's spaces.
Who gives a fuck if women can't compete at the top level? If they can't do it?
Sounds completely reasonable to me. And if it eliminates women's spaces from sports and makes it so that, I mean, keep in mind it'd be eliminating men's spaces from sports as well. And I have absolutely no issue with that. The turfs are completely right. I do want to actually get rid of gendered spaces in the sports arena, and that they are 100% right. And I don't base my opinions off of what the most radical turfs, feared that I'm going to do.
What the did you say?
Honestly, this whole thing was kind of crazy. These people were really sitting up here talking about it's perfectly acceptable to eliminate women's spaces. They know it eliminates women's spaces, and they're for that.
Where do I go?
They're not even like there's a trans man that was saying that, I believe.
Trans woman. But...
No.
They're like, yo, whatever space that females were supposed to have, we don't care. Get rid of them.
That's them.
And even if trans women, specifically because they are in like the starting process of their transition or whatever, have significant competitive advantages. Let's say they do. In 99% of the instances, they don't. There's plenty of empirical evidence to suggest that they don't. But even if they do, it does not matter. It does not matter because it's not unnatural.
It's not unnatural to be trans.
It's not unnatural to be trans unless you think it's unnatural to be trans, in which case you are transphobic. That's it.
Damn.
That's the take.
Got it. Okay. Well, you got me. Yeah.
Hormone therapy, all this stuff, all of it's very natural. Taking puberty blockers or like hormone blockers, taking all this stuff, perfectly natural. None of these folks get banned. When someone says, hey, this thing is unethical, it's not fair, it's not right, you get banned. It's fascinating to watch from the outside looking in because you realize how disconnected the online world is from reality. You ask most people in reality, they'll be like, yeah, that shit's not right. You ask these people who live in like little lefty bubbles
Didn't
on their
say
fucking
Simon
online
Says.
platforms or Twitter and shit like that, and they're going to be convinced that this shit makes sense. There's a reason why most of the public is completely against it. But these people, they live in cuckoo land. They make no sense. He really said that transitioning is natural. It's not. I'm not saying that this gender dysphoria is not natural. That's not what we're talking about. Transitioning is nothing natural.
It's like saying that taking steroids is natural. It's not.
That's what trans men have to do.
Wanting to be big. I mean, it's there. It's a feeling that you have. It's there. It's there.
Is there a dungeon to the west or the northeast? Why are people saying two different places?
But that's not the definition of what natural is.
Some dude, I think his name is Derek. He does this channel called More Plates, More Dates. Basically talks about like people's cycles, what they use, how they get bigger. He understands the whole cycle.
Yeah.
So he's breaking this down.
Yeah.
And he was explaining that Leah Thomas, when she had to transition for like the 12 months beforehand, the levels that she had to reach for her test levels, okay? Like the milliliters that she had to reach were like 6 times higher than what the average cis woman has to reach. Meaning, even when she meets the threshold that the governing body set up, it literally makes no sense because it's still 6 times higher than what women have to do. And even the testing thing, you know how USADA for UFC is like super strict, they come watch you do the whole process? With this one, it's loosey-goosey. So you can cheat it super easily. There is very little oversight when it comes to it. He was exploiting the whole thing because he breaks it down. He breaks down the milliliters, so he understands the science. And I was just like, nigga, I thought this shit was black.
Wait, I should just look this up. So I thought I read somewhere that the Olympic guidelines was like 288. Is it nanoliters per milligram? There's no way that's right? That was NCAA? 250 nanograms per deciliter? There's no way that's what it actually is, right? Olympic guidelines, T levels, nanomoles per liter, I should say. Wait, I thought the normal T levels per woman was like 15 to 75 or 70. Or is that using a different measurement? Oh no, nanograms versus nanomoles. Fuck. Okay, it's about 50-70 nanograms, 0.5 to 2.4 nanomoles. So this is like the reference range for women, but trans women have to be kept at 10 or lower. That's insane. Why?
Science, it's not. You know how long they have to do the whole like bringing down their hormone levels? 12 months. That means they trade their entire lives, their teenage puberty, all that stuff. One gender, get all the benefits of the recovery of testosterone, all this stuff, being a male. And then they
Why are we talking about more trans shit? Who wanted me to watch this video? Fuck you guys.
Surgery, meaning their testes are still producing. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. And they think this shit's equal.
Bah, on est rendu là, quoi.
I don't know. I learned some stuff like in terms of like the actual technical breakdown that really fascinated me because I was like, it's like that?
This subject is really getting to you.
What do you mean?
Oh, we've been talking about this stuff.
To me, it's not even
True.
about the whole sports thing. Now it's like about everything else surrounding
True.
it. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, motherfuckers are getting banned for just saying the truth.
Yeah.
So now
It's by the
just like,
coast?
it's another layer.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Coast
Lung
where?
capacity is actually mostly related to height, and like Ashley said earlier, is only really important for super high endurance sports. No, hold on, when it comes to lung capacity and bone density, it's not, unless you're talking about super endurance sports, it's never going to be the limiting factor.
What about height? What about
Height,
height?
you can have tall women.
What about height? What about
Height,
height?
you can have tall women.
When I watch these people saying they want to eliminate female spaces, they want to, they don't care if they take the spot of somebody. If you were 17th, well, fuck you then, because you weren't even good enough to make it the top 16 to make it to the meet. So for a trans woman, it just fascinates me how quickly, like, the cause went from being supporting women to fuck women. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Like, I remember for the last, like, 5-6 years, everything was about women's issues. Right? And, like, basically, like, females. And then trans women came over, and now it's just about trans women exclusively, and, like, female issues don't even matter anymore.
So basically, it comes down to this. If you're for trans right, you're misogynistic.
And it always circles back to the same thing. It's like, you're always a transphobe.
Always.
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 Always. You're like, hey, guys, the science doesn't really back what you guys say. Transphobe.
If you question, you're transphobe.
Like, I was watching people get compared to, like, them Hitler-type dudes. Mm-hmm. For saying some of this stuff. I'm like, really?
Yo, like, example.
Does he?
Yo, what Will Smith did was wrong. It's just, what Chris Rock did was wrong. Just,
they're just using the words to shut it all down.
just to shut it down. And you know, with racism, we've been through that, so that's why I'm not fazed.
Yeah.
It's gonna calm down. They'll come around or not.
Yeah. I'll link the debate in the link in the description below, so you guys can go watch how crazy it is and how like delusional some of these people are. They are just making shit up. At one point, one of them brings something up. They go like, yeah, these are all the. Someone's like, all right, well, listen, if you feel this way, we're all the trans men who are killing it. Since you feel like there's no difference, and you guys can, why aren't the trans men competing at this level? And then you know what she did? She brings up Mac Beggs, who's a wrestler, who's competing against, who's competing and winning. So I'm like, word, cool. Let me Google this. Mac Beggs is a female, born female, who's transitioning, competing against women, and taking testosterone.
Oh, wait. No, wait. Is that true?
So basically,
Wait, did I miss that? That trans male athlete that's being cited as a winner isn't competing against cis women as a trans male, right?
he's taking steroids.
I think they were forced to compete that way. Yeah, it wasn't by option, but it was because they weren't allowed to. Wait, what the fuck? What just hit me?
Euless Trinity wrestler Mac Beggs is a champion once again. Today, in a dramatic finish, the transgender athlete defended his state title. It has been a long and controversial road for the senior. As News 8's Matt Howerton shows us, he's now focused on college and closing this chapter for good.
When their hands were raised, students who won state wrestling titles were met with thunderous applause, except for Mac Beggs.
I don't care. That match, I gave my all that match. You put me in front of anybody, I will wrestle you.
Beggs, a transgender wrestler from Euless Trinity, closed out his high school career Saturday with a second straight state title. In the final seconds of his match, he avoided a possible pinfall to win by decision. And people booed his success.
That's the Sigma.
Every time like I look through comments or people are saying the same thing, they're saying steroids. I mean, it just comes down to technique and
Wait,
who
what
has
is-
the most heart.
Last year, a parent went to court to keep Beggs from wrestling in the female division. If you didn't know, Beggs is transitioning from a girl to a boy and takes testosterone. But it isn't against the rules because it's sanctioned by a doctor.
Stop tying up!
And UIL policy says Beggs must wrestle girls because that's what his birth certificate says he is. It's a controversy Beggs will leave behind when he heads to college. He's hoping to wrestle out of state on a scholarship, and the NCAA will let him compete with men. But he's also dreaming for something bigger.
My focus is now to go not just NCAA, but go to the Olympics, train for the Olympics. 2020 and 2024.
Parents told us Beggs should have been wrestling boys all along or not wrestling at all. UIL officials have said publicly that they never got an official request.
Trans men are a really good Trans men serve as a foil to everybody. Trans men serve as a foil to crazy progressives that are like, oh, like everybody should be able to do what they want. And it's like, okay, well, are trans men ever going to be competitive? Oh, fuck them, I don't care. But trans men also serve as a really good foil to crazy conservatives when they're like, you need to go into the bathroom that you are born on your fucking birth certificate for. And then you show them like some big burly fucking hairy dude that's like, okay, well, this is a trans man. You want him in the bathroom with your daughter? And conservatives are like, conservatives will change their tune real fast. Like, get this freak out of my young daughter's bathroom. It's not, I don't need that, right? Like, nobody's ready for the trans men. Yeah, do you want Buck Angel going into your daughter's bathroom? So silly. Okay, whatever. Let's just keep listening.
Request from Beggs or his school to wrestle boys. Beggs' family contests it wouldn't have mattered and wants the state to take a fresh look at the rules.
I wanted to come out on top, and in my heart, I feel I am a champion.
If anything, all this teen wants is for students to be honored for what they've done and not judged by who they are.
Hey man, I'm gonna just leave you guys on this final note, and then because Preach is already gone. Female spaces have an important place. I think trans women also need to be protected in their own right. But the way that you guys are going about destroying women's spaces, just like don't give a shit, I think is very, very telling. And I think if females feel some type of way and they really feel strongly, you guys should do it. For us, it's just a video topic. For you guys, it's your space. So I would recommend you guys to get up in arms about it, because at the end of the day, me and Preach are never going to be as emotionally involved. I'm just looking at it on the outside like, these motherfuckers is crazy. For you guys, it's a larger issue. So that's all I'm going to say on the topic. Good?
Uh-oh.
Who the fuck is ABBA and Preach? It's not unnatural to be trans, unless you think it's unnatural to be trans, in which case you are transphobic. That's it. That's the take. I love the argument. I don't even need to see it.
Uh-oh.
I don't even need to see it to know what the argument is, which is going to be, and I'm going to tell you right now, the argument is probably going to be, no, it is unnatural to be trans. Because that's how it, literally, when you argue with fucking transphobes, the only argument they have is relying on what other people also feel about trans people, because it's the normative position to be fucking transphobic.
Good. Nice. Good argument.
Fucking 10-hour... I covered the shit for like 10 fucking hours, and they cut like 30 seconds and go, this is so stupid. Trans people are weird and unnatural. And then everyone's like, Pog! Fuck yeah!
That sounds great.
Dumbass. ABBA and Preach were the ones that were DMCA for criticizing Fresh and Fit? Wait, what? Really? They're actually... I don't know anything about them.
Oh, shit. Wait, maybe I need a 180 real quick.
So they are actually not bad? What the fuck? Oh, but they said my C-word ban was good. Like,
oh, so they are bad?
I
can't hold nuanced position in head. They either totally bad or totally good. Can't think of them in any other way.
Why not watch it, assuming the argument at least? Because I made a fucking promise that I wasn't gonna engage with like idiotic, bad faith fucking
clout
debates,
seekers.
Okay, that's why. That's why.
I feel like they must do like 5 times the views as his fucking channel. Bro, I'm in the middle of a thing. Have some respect. These guys did 25 million views last month. Hasan did 6.
He called me a transphobe today.
Yeah, we saw it. He only watched I think he watched a whole 10 seconds of your video.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. I was gleeful. Listen, when it comes to Shank's nephew, I don't know why he feels the need to I think my suspicion is that I think he's been targeted a lot by a lot of people, justly so in a lot of cases, I imagine. But I think when you get to be that big and you have that much criticism coming at you from every direction, even from your own community at times, I think it must take a huge mental toll.
No, I think he's just really soft. I think his whole life he's been incredibly pampered, and he's not used to getting much pushback anywhere at all. He's kind of had everything handed to him. He's had a pretty easy go at almost everything, so he's got a really hard time, I think, dealing with almost any criticism.
Fair, but you would also agree that he's pretty much grown very quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Right, and I think managing that kind of stuff while receiving so much.
Can you call me buddy?
It's I think when you go that mainstream, where your proudest moment is playing Among Us with AOC.
There are responses that I can see, but he goes so much farther. This motherfucker will be in YouTube comment sections, mass downvoting posts with his fan base to get internet criticism removed of him. He had there was a video that we watched of his from some group called Context, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, because he's talking about how he had the original idea to combine games and politics, and he built everything on Twitch from the ground up. It was just funny to listen to him say that his whole career or whatever. And I know that initially, I think we watched a video on stream, and I'm sure some of my fans showed up in that video to make comments. He went through afterwards on his Discord and on Twitter, was having people mass downvote or thumbs down or dislike comments that were showing up, so that they wouldn't be there anymore. And he'll do that on Reddit as well, where he'll have people go through sometimes a bad post will show up about him and public freak out, and he'll go through that Reddit post on stream, and he'll have his fans mass downvote stuff, so he doesn't have to see any criticism. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's complex, not context, whatever.
Yeah, I think context. I think his response has been completely irrational, and I think been very poor in taste. I think his situation is also untenable, in that I don't think he can keep going the way he's going. It seems like it's taking a huge mental toll on him.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's eventually going to blow up.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm here for it.
You hoping for the man's blow up?
Absolutely.
Thanks for the context.
Hey, if it leads to a moment catharsis where there's maybe
some
some humbling that happens, and I think it's always good.
But no, I just want to see him, so I don't think he'll be ever humbled. But yeah, I guess.
You don't think so? You don't think so?
No, absolutely not.
I get it. You guys got a long history together, so I guess for you it's far more personal. For me, when I heard him say I'm a transphobe or whatever, I kind of cringed and just laughed a little bit. But I don't know. I think with online content creators, especially ones that grow really quickly. I know, me being 31 and having to handle it, I'm pretty good at it. I understand how to keep my distance from certain things and not be too involved in the response from millions of people. But I can tell he's not managing it well. So I think for him, it's just it's inevitable that he's going to blow up. But if you're hoping for it to be just terrible so he suffers, then that's one response, I guess. I don't know. I think maybe it's because of the fact that I've seen how insidious and a lot of this online stuff is, and I think for you it might be a little bit different because you seem to handle it a lot better than most people. But you would agree that your response to a lot of the following and all that stuff is very unique, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so I am slightly sympathetic to content creators, online people, or just people who are really well known who don't seem to manage it really well, because I do think that for most human beings it's not easy to manage. I wouldn't think it's easy. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very difficult, one. And two, oftentimes there's very little empathy from the public because they don't understand it, because they don't have to deal with it on a macro scale like that.
Of course.
And so I think generally I tend to be a little bit empathetic towards to content creators as a result, even if I dislike them. Me personally, I find Hasan super corny. I think he's one of those SJW types who thinks they're fighting for minorities who don't identify with him at all. I always find it super cringe when I hear these SJW types kind of say all this stuff. I just know minorities don't look at you and think oh, we want you fighting on our behalf. They cringe at you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how I look at him.
Oh my god, dude! You don't even. I super hate Hasan, by the way. So I'm obviously you know that. You said I dislike. I don't dislike him. I hate him. Okay, so just to be clear that one of the funniest things this motherfucker ever said, because it's really important when you're like very woke and very SJW that you can always speak for like every minority, even though you never ever have these people as your friends because they're usually too poor and they don't live in the cool places that you want to go to. I remember that when it was like Bernie season, one of the funniest fucking things this guy said was, yeah, like when I go to my gym. Have you ever heard of Equinox?
I live in a district that's most likely going to either vote for Biden or vote for Elizabeth Warren, okay? A lot of rich white gays here. A lot of rich white cis gays here. They all and I go to establishments like Equinox where I like to measure, and this is completely anecdotal, but I like to measure the reaction that I get. You know who fucking stops me? No matter where I go. Without a doubt. You know who fucking stops me? It's not the beautifully sculpted cis gay men, overwhelmingly white, at the Equinox gym when they see me wearing Bernie Sanders merch. It's the janitors. It's the cleaning people. Almost all of them Latino. They always stop me and they say, oh yeah, we're going to vote for Bernie. We're going to vote for Bernie. It's the fucking working class people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so expect like $300, $400 a month gym. He's like, when I go to Equinox, none of the white people that work out there, none of those guys like Bernie Sanders. But when I talk to the Hispanic people when I'm leaving, they're all big Bernie fans or whatever. That shit was just the funniest shit in the fucking world when he fucking said, oh shit, dude. I don't know. He's a guy. He's a character. Oh, the janitor. Yeah, I think he said, yeah.
I remember it was like 2014. No, it was like 2012. I used to have like dance practice at the university, and so I'd go there in like one of the open art section. And this is the first time I ever even encountered like some of these ideas. I didn't even know they existed because if you didn't go to school, and at the time it wasn't that like relevant, nobody really knew about a lot of the social justice type topics. And so I would see these people, and like the stereotype of the colored hair and all that stuff was hilarious to me, and I would hear what they were talking about. And I remember just constantly like seeing the demographics of these groups traditionally.
Yeah.
And it was like exclusively white men and white women, but a lot of white women. With like weird looks to their head and faces. And there may be like one or two minorities sprinkled in there. But I always thought it was funny because I always felt like their dialogue was so disconnected from the people they were trying to represent.
Sure.
Like you gave the example of the Hispanic and stuff like that. Like Hispanic voter turnout is like turning more and more right-wing.
Conservative, yeah.
Every year, right? I even talk to them sometimes, and you know, I talk to like these folks who don't want to fight for black folks and all this other stuff. I'm like, how do you feel about their views on homosexuality?
Yeah, it gets real uncomfortable.
And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't know this?
Bro,
like,
the most racist Bernie fans when Bernie lost and he got like 2% of the black vote, dude, that was the closest a lot of these people ever got to fucking saying the N-word. These low information voters, they just don't understand what's good for them. Oh man, were they fucking mad during some of those primaries. Holy shit.
Yeah, because of the disconnect, right? Like intellectually, they see like the policies that Bernie has, and they're like, "Oh, well, it would be a huge benefit to black folks." But it's like you don't understand like the community and how like voting actually works and who influences that. You don't understand like the power of the church in a lot of these areas and how that like influences voter turnout. You don't understand like just the more social policies that a lot of these people adopt in their personal lives and how they feel about a lot of things. They just don't know. So that's why I cringe at a lot of these like hyper left leaning types who don't seem to have any connection to the communities that they're saying they're defending. Because I'm like, one, you don't speak for them. They don't feel identified by you. So two, it just feels like, you know, like you're using them as a shield to be able to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah.
And three, they're actually repulsed by you because you're the exact type of person that they don't want to associate with. So I don't know. I just think it's funny that these people always talk about like taking care of minorities and saving minorities and protecting them. I was like, well, they don't want you. They don't care about you. They don't identify with you. Well.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do, man?
Yeah.
Colleges are getting crazy these days.
Well, yeah. So the reason why you called me transphobe is because I said transitioning is unnatural. I said like gender dysphoria, all this stuff, obviously very natural. But transitioning is unnatural. Is that a strange statement? I didn't even think that was controversial.
No, yeah, he's really stupid. He said a lot of really stupid things about trans stuff. He just doesn't know much about it. It's just kind of like the position of the week for him because he's like the woke bae or whatever shit.
Yeah, I find the whole discussion around transport so confusing for me sometimes because people are like, well, trans women are women. But it's like, yeah, we're not talking about their gender expression. This is about biology. Like, This is about male and female sports, not about what you identify as. Like, I don't know why they keep saying stuff like that. And, you said something I thought that was really important, and I think it's probably like the flashpoint, is that a lot of this stuff and the disingenuous arguments for this is what fuels the TERFs more than anything. Because they see these folks fighting so hard for something that's clearly wrong. And they see like the disingenuous ways, and so it makes you question their integrity in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
How can I trust anything you say when I just saw you vehemently defend that the sky is orange, and do so in the most manipulative and slimy ways possible, and at the expense of everyone? It's like and I have to fight that instinct all the time. You know what I'm saying? That kind of like tribalistic instinct where if you say one thing that's wrong, I don't throw your entire shit out the window. You get me?
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the arguments that they've been making. Like that's always one of the things I stress is that like we're going to argue for things. Like we have to like maintain some grasp on reality. Otherwise, people are going to look at everything you say as crazy. But people are kind of like tossing everything out the window now. Yeah, we need more.
I'm not gonna lie, you though.
What?
This is one you're probably not gonna agree with me at all.
Oh yeah, let's go for it.
I had that exact same instinct. I don't even know if it's true. I didn't even research it. I haven't bothered to like look into it. But when they said they weren't letting black folks on trains in Ukraine, I was like, man, fuck them niggas. And
what do you mean by that?
Hey, I said that. I said, fuck them. I said, hey, man, Russia take over, which is absolutely ignorant, right? But I can tell you this, that I, along with a lot of black folks went, yeah, choo-choo, nuclear war. Hey, man, they should have let us on them trains. Fuck them. That's how a lot of folks felt. And I understand that instinct. I 100% understand it. But again, I didn't really research it that deeply, so I don't know much more.
What do you mean? Do you just mean that like those people were probably like freeloaders and not like Ukrainian citizens trying to be refugees, or what do you mean? Well,
Well, listen, all I know about the reports and what I was seeing on CNN and a bunch of other news channels were that they weren't letting black folks on them trains.
Okay, I don't know where or where that comes from. Because usually the conservative attack was that there was, hold on, you're not talking about actual black people, are you? You're just.
Yeah, I'm talking about black people.
Oh, you are talking about black people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Chad is, they're not letting us on the trains.
Yeah, Chad is confusing.
Keep hating your life, then. Working class.
He's saying fuck Ukraine for not letting. Wait, hold on. Can you give me this take again? Hold on,
Okay,
start over. Yeah, hold on. I'm confused now.
Yeah. So essentially, they wouldn't let. Remember when they were doing trains to evacuate from Ukraine?
Yes. Yeah. The reports were that they weren't letting some black people on trains. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Even at the border, the Ukrainian border patrol would not let black folks get into Poland. Though, despite the fact that once some of them did manage to get into Poland, they were well received and they were well treated by the Polish people there. The border patrol for Ukraine was like being apparently terrible.
Yeah.
Can't confirm or deny, but it just seemed like all the news reports confirmed this. And so that was a thing for a while. And I'm saying when I read that shit, I was like, fuck Ukraine. That's like the initial response that I had.
Oh, okay. I understand now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sure.
And everyone's like, oh man, fucking, what about nuclear war? It's gonna blow. I'm like, hey, Brian, they should have let us on. It's like, it was so basic and primitive like that. And a lot of people had that take. So that's what I was saying. Is that more clear now?
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So what say you to that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's dumb. But I mean, I can empathize with you, sure.
Go on. Please expand on the dumbness.
Well, you're being tribalistic as fuck, right? Is there anything else to say?
Okay.
I mean, I understand it, right? Like, yeah.
Well, this is something I have an issue with. And this is something I think I understand the principle in that I think if you want to be virtuous to any degree, you have to sometimes take out your own personal feelings out of a lot of these discussions in order to get to the root of whatever moral issue you're trying to uphold.
Sure.
So I understand that. I just have a tremendous hard time defending folks who I know see me as less than.
Yeah, I mean, I can empathize with that. The closest example that I've got for this is for the longest time, I've gone back and forth on this in my career, but like for a while, I didn't believe in deplatforming anyone. I thought that like every free speech is important, like we shouldn't ban conservatives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like all that shit. That was like my stance for quite a while. And then when I got banned on things in like 2017, 2018 for random shit, when I started to get banned, I noticed a lot of these conservative motherfuckers that I were debating, they were like cheering me on. So eventually it got to the point where I was like, you know what? If these motherfuckers get banned, fuck them. I don't care. Because if I got banned, they wouldn't want me to get, they'd be fucking cheering it on. So fuck these guys. So I kind of like switched it. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more mature. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand, but fuck all these guys. It's part of the game, but we still shouldn't probably be banning people because we think that people are being mean or saying shit or whatever. But like that's an example of like a position that I kind of have like gone back and forth on depending upon how people are treating me at a given point in time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like when there are people that I fight with on Twitter and it's like, do I want anything to happen to these people? No, of course not. But like when they're on Twitter and shit, like cheering on, like, oh yeah, like we got his income, guys. We're taking out his job. It's like, okay, well, you know what? If you get hit by a fucking car, like, am I going to celebrate? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it later, but you're not doing yourself any favors and I sure as fuck aren't crying for you. Okay. So yeah, it gets hard. But one thing that's like really upsetting is people don't even when I say stuff like that, people are like, Destiny. That's like so evil. Like people have like come out like, here's something that's like really frustrating. And it's hard because this goes back kind of to what you said about Hasan, where it's like when you're a streamer, it's hard to complain about your problems because no one can empathize, right? Somebody tweets out, or no, not somebody tweets out. So I'm in my chat and somebody donates something along the lines of something like, I don't remember what it was exactly, but it's something like, oh, like, don't worry, like, this girl's gonna 41% herself soon anyway or something, right? 41% is like it's like a mean reference to trans suicide statistics, right? Basically, the joke is that she's gonna kill herself because she's trans. So you come from the fact that in 30 years, this person will kill themselves. Jesus Christ.
Obama.
It's tempting to embrace the 41 jokes, but I'm trying to stay. I don't even know why at this point. I'm trying to stay above board. And the dono came through, and I think I laughed awkwardly a little bit. I was like, yeah, like it's tempting to get on that path, but I want to keep it above board. Like I don't want to like go down that road. Basically, is what I said.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And in my response to that, people clipped that thing as an example of me being ultra transphobic towards trans people. And the funny thing is that like, even at that, I think it's so weird because I can't make that comment without like, and even my community, is like, Destiny went too far. And it's like, okay, like let's take one quick break. All right. Like these motherfuckers, like in a coordinated manner, just axed like over 100,000 a year of income for me and like knocked me off of like a platform that I've been building for 12 years. Like, do you really find it that unbelievable that I might get like a little bit psychopathic in terms of how I view these people? Like, I think most people would probably view it pretty similarly. I think that you could push a lot of people to say a lot worse with a lot less. Okay, slow the fuck down, But
yeah, I understand what you were feeling in that moment, and I think when folks kind of do that whole clip of you, obviously you know why. I think it's a convenient thing because they have like audio, visual of you saying what you said. In regards to, so to them, it doesn't matter what the context is. So we can just kind of skip past that point. But it's completely understand. Like if I'm just looking at the greater context, yeah, it's something I felt my whole life, and I think it's something that you hear Black folks say all the time when it comes to like somebody being found racist. And like, or like having wrote racist things and stuff like that, and they just want to throw them to the wolves. Like, it's very difficult when people who don't show you any grace expect you to be their staunchest defenders.
Yeah, it's
very difficult. And human impulses, irrespective of whatever morals you want to have, like human impulses just aren't geared towards that. We all like a bit of revenge. We all like a bit of like in your fucking face, whether we want to believe it or not. None of us are the Saint Mary. So it's perfectly understandable. And to be fair, when I'm seeing this stuff in regards to transport, some of it does make you want to be like, man, fuck these people. But obviously you have to learn to fight that emotion as much as possible, because if you don't, then you're doing a disservice and you're encouraging the suffering of people who otherwise don't deserve it. So it's unfortunate. But I think the very mere fact that we are trying to fight these emotions is a good indication. It's a good indication of where we're trying to go as human beings and what we're trying to override, and like the human nature of us that we're trying to fight against. And I think that's something that should be applauded. That's something that should be highlighted when you see folks doing that. And I think it's probably what makes like law so appealing to me in some ways. Is like when I hear about lawyers who defend vehemently even the worst people, I think the principle behind that is something I find really admirable.
Yeah, of course. It has to be, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
God, there was
because people get mad about that. They say, like, how dare you defend
dude. There was this stupid
no,
fuck streamer
that's
girl.
the most important thing.
There was this dumb fuck streamer girl once, I remember on Twitter, and she's tweeting out, like, how could you possibly be a defense lawyer and defend some of these horrible people when you know they're guilty? And it's like, what the fuck do you think the purpose of our entire fucking legal system is? Like, why would you say something so stupid? Yeah.
And I think it's such a beautiful thing, but folks can't understand it because they give into that impulse every day. They give into that kind of tribalistic impulse where, like, nope, if it comes to this, then you go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And your whole community too. And it's easy to do that.
It's also really hard too when these people don't have to hold back at all. Like, because like I can't. There's like a million things that like for instance, if I said I was gonna stop talking about trans people, so you're fucking me up, okay? But when I'm dealing with trans people, I can't make fun of their image at all because it's almost always going to be transphobic, right? If I say anything about how you look, it's going to be transphobic. Just it will be. But like they can call me short, gnome, like fat, scrawny, whatever, white, cis, loser. Like they could bring out every single identity of mine and every single thing they want to dig into in order to like shit on me. And like if I accidentally, so like I'll call a lot of people like mentally ill is something I say. Sometimes when I call a trans person mentally ill, they're like, oh, you think transness is a mental illness, so you're being trans. It's like, fuck, Jesus, like even my normal insults I'm not allowed to say against you guys without like getting like super fucked, you know? And it's like so frustrating. You've got to like fight in some ways with both hands tied behind your back while they're meanwhile like just guns blazing and getting cheered on the entire time for it, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like you know, if you imagine it like in an RPG sense, when you got a character creation screen, when you don't choose this, but let's say when you were assigned the race white, like the positives on that are pretty high. Like, you know, there's a lot of positives to it, but the downsides is like you can't say shit online because yeah, like that's the downside of your race group. Okay, it's like you have a -2 to racial commentary. Okay, right, but you have a +3 to like employability. All right. As a black man, I can get away with a lot more. You feel me? I could say a lot of stuff, and I dare some of these motherfuckers say something to me talking about oppression. I'd be like, stupid. Racial commentary +5. That's
sure. But even that plays out in such toxic ways. Dude, one of the funniest clips I've ever seen in my life happened kind of recently where there was a there's a black guy on a panel talking to an Asian dude, and the black guy was like,
absolutely right.
Do you believe that you have a different relationship with the social and political systems in society based on who you are? You are a white, I'm assuming middle class Asian American. White presenting, I should say. So you're white.
I'm white presenting?
Wait.
What?
What? A white presenting Asian.
What the heck?
Let me rephrase that.
Can you look at me right now? I can
simplify that for you. I can simplify that for you if that upset you.
Don't you understand that you have a different engagement with the criminal justice system? And the guy's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, because you're white. And then he was like, white presenting, I mean? A white presenting Asian guy? It's like, bro, what are you saying right now? Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, but he gets a pass to do that.
I guess. Like, he got away with it, obviously, I guess. But that's just...
What do you mean? He didn't get away with it. That's normal. Bruv, that's not getting away with it. That's normal.
Okay, listen, you can't call an Asian dude white when you're black, okay?
I mean, you're Latino, and we call you white.
Okay, but I look white as fuck. I can get away with being white, okay?
Well, hey, listen. You said we can't say that, but I'm telling you, we can. I know because I got this character creation screen, bro. I can see my stats. Okay? I can say that. I can look at an Asian person. As far as the criminal justice system goes, I can look at them and say, you're white passing. I can say that.
Oh my God, dude.
It's not getting away with it. It's
we
normal.
We found your ultra progressive side. All right, here, this is what we were looking for. Okay.
It's not my ultra progressive side. I'm just telling you, it is what it is. Yeah. That's not my take. That's not my opinion. It is what it is. That's like saying, like, oh, fucking dwarves have a +2 to Constitution. Yay! It's not my opinion. It is what it is.
Okay, I see how it is.
Right. So when you say the black guy got away with saying that, it's not that they got away. Literally, he can get on national TV, he can get on CNN and say the Asian person's white passing, and most people will not bat an eye.
At least half the country of the U.S. would at least bat an eye, for sure.
No, they bat an eye? You really think they would give a shit that a black man said an Asian person is white passing?
Well, yeah, I think because conservatives love Asian people, yeah. They're the ideal minority group of the United States, right? For conservative people.
Fair. I mean, conservative people might be like, if it's political expedient for them, they might say some shit, but I don't think they would. To be honest with you, the whole take about like Asian people, facing a different reality than black folks or having a different experience with the justice system, I agree with that 150%.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it 100%, of course.
Yeah.
But I just to call an Asian guy white is just kind of funny to me. Wait, you're not in favor of the BIPOC shit, are you?
What was BIPOC? Is that like a biphobic or bi person of color?
No, it has nothing to do with bisexuals. I understand the confusion though, because it confuses you a long time. It stands for, so I guess black people wanted like their own thing because they didn't like being included with all the other minorities. So they made something called Black and Indigenous and Persons of Color. So it's basically, it's just a way to like bring like black and indigenous people out of like the minority group so that you wouldn't just call all of them like persons of color. I just thought it was kind of funny.
Who do you personally know that says that shit?
It was a big college thing, but I think it's fallen out of favor.
Who do you know that says that shit?
I don't know any fucking kids anymore, okay?
That's just not real.
I mean, it's real in college, like that fucking Latinx shit was. Like, but it's younger people, right? It's not like people in my age group, I don't think.
I don't know. Even the Latinx stuff, like, you ask any Latin person, they're like, yo, don't call me that shit. They get offended.
Yeah, of course. Latin, but like this was like a big thing on college campuses. It was a big meme on like it was enough that it was like part of the national conversation. Like people were talking about BIPOC shit. I feel like I've read this in some Canadian government fucking shit or whatever. It's like big corporate speak, like the Latinx shit. See some people in chat saying their college still does it. Like, yeah.
Listen, I'm probably going to offend a large segment of your fan base, but if anyone's 20 and they have an opinion, I just barely listen.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the main reason why, like, whenever guys tell me, like, oh, I only want to date young women, and the reason why I can't is I can't listen to them talk. So for me personally, whenever these young people are saying a lot of this goofy ass shit, I'm like, bro, how old are you? Man, shut your ass up, okay? I'm not listening to none of that bullshit. So I hear Latinx, I hear BIPOC, I just roll my eyes and keep it pushing because I'm like, this is not real. It's not going anywhere. And until I see this shit in the real world, I'm not buying into none of that. That's not to say that everything that happens on college campuses doesn't translate elsewhere, but I'm like, bitch, you're 20. Shut your ass up. Nobody cares what you think. And they shouldn't, because what you just said may be one of the dumbest things I've heard so far. BIPOC? Bro, I want to go up to a black person and explain this shit. You know how fast they go roll their eyes at me?
Yeah, well.
Hey, man, black indigenous people of color, they be like, hey, man, why are we including them natives?
Oh, you can't.
What, you can't say natives?
No, I was going to say, well, you can't just be black people. Otherwise, it would just be black people. They had to bring one other group along with them, so. And natives are small enough a group that they won't take too much attention, so it's like the perfect group to align yourself with.
Maybe I'm unaware. Maybe you can fill me in. Is there like a secret alliance between black folks and natives that I'm unaware of?
No, there's not.
I hear that a lot. Black and indigenous people. I'm like, why are we ending indigenous people?
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine trans people today probably feel the same with like fucking xenogenders and like neo-pronouns and shit.
Whoa, what's xenogenders?
Oh man, dude, I don't even. I said I was getting away. You don't want to know. I don't even want to explain it.
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie, man. You know what I was saying the other day? I said that I was saying this the other day. I don't know if you feel the same. It's like, listen, I might not fuck with a lot of this weird trans stuff, but some of it's got some fire names. Like I was saying this the other day. I said like Demon Mama's username is amazing. Like she might be a straight up loser, but her username needs to be redistributed because that is one of the best online usernames I've ever heard.
Yeah, Demon Mama?
Demon Mama is a fire username.
Okay.
You don't think so?
Maybe I'm just too poisoned by
No, like listen. Trans people may have whatever faults they got, but when it comes to choosing names and shit like that, xeno pronouns, like, bro, I don't even want a regular pronoun no more. Xeno pronoun sounds lit.
That's where you have like Faye, Fair, or whatever instead of he, him, or whatever. You get like yeah.
Like listen, I don't actually want to use it, but I'm just saying that the marketing of it is kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess
xeno pronouns. But yeah, that's just my my hot take on that one.